Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. This is Mark here, and this is Comic Book Stew Part 6. Yes, we've got a long way to go before I finish these sets of videos, I tell you. This is Box 2.2. So we saw some of the Batman comics that I have. You'll see the rest of them that are in Box 2, but that is by no means the only Batman comics that I have. I have got loads of other Batman comics just littered in amongst all the boxes I have here. And as I'm recataloguing and rebagging and boarding and reboxing the comics, I will be showing you guys what comics I have in my collection in box order. So there you go. So we finished the last video with Batman number 625, which was the final part of the Brian Azzarello written Broken City. And next up we have the Judd Winick written issue 626. Great painted cover there of Batman as Man Bat. Beautiful cover that is. Absolutely beautiful. We now have issue 627 with Matt Wagner drawn cover. This one crossed over. This was a triptych cover. I believe that's what they called it, a triptych cover. It was 3 covers. There was this one, Batman 627. There was an issue of Wonder Woman, and there was an issue of, I believe it was Adventures of Superman, or it might have been. I don't think it was Action Comics. I think it was Adventures of Superman, and they each made up. They each went together, locked together. So you had Batman on this one, you had Superman on the Superman issue, and you had Wonder Woman on the Wonder Woman issue, obviously. And they were all drawn by Matt Wagner, and they were really nice covers as well. Really nice. What was that? 627. We've got 628, which has the Scarecrow in it. 629. 630. And then we have another 3 parts of the War Games story arc that went through every single Batman title in October, November and December, I believe, in 2004. That's Act 1, Part 8 of 8. Act 2, Part 8 of 8. And Act 3, Part 8 of 8. And then we have Batman 634, 635, 636. If you want to get a better look at these covers, feel free to pause the video and just have a really good look at these covers. I mean, I'm not trying to go through these particularly quickly, but you understand I've got a lot of comics to go through to show you guys. 637. And Winick's run on Batman was really good, a really good run. And I remember him saying, in interviews he said that he really liked Jason Todd as a character, which was why he was the one that brought him back from the dead. 639. 640. And that's the last issue of the main Batman series in this box. There's plenty more Batman comics to come with this box, I'll tell you. But next up we have Batman and Robin Adventures number 9, which starred Batgirl in this issue. And then you have Batman Annual number 24. And in when was it? 2000, DC Comics, in all the annuals in the year 2000, they had a theme running through the whole lot. They weren't necessarily all connected together like previous annuals from DC, but they had a theme going through them where they introduced other characters, other superheroes, and supervillains from around the world in the DC universe. And this was from Britain, and the character they brought in was called the Boggart. Yeah, which was a mythical creature. I think if I remember correctly, it was an Irish mythical, a Celtic legend mythical creature, the Boggart. Google it if you want to know any more about that character. I'm sure Google will know more about it than I do. As we have Batman Chronicles number 21, which was a quarterly comic, come out every 3 months. It come out in a year, and this was just a general, not always in continuity stories. It was an anthology comic which had usually about 3 stories in each issue, and it wasn't necessarily in the DC universe's continuity at that time, but they were still all really nice stories nonetheless. I think there was one I've got which crossed over with the Contagion event that happened in the Batman comics, and I think I got that one because it had the Garth Ennis Hitman character in it. Next up we have the Batman Danger Girl intercompany crossover comic, which this is when Wildstorm, I think this is just about the time that Wildstorm was bought up by DC Comics and they become an imprint of DC. Obviously now Danger Girl is published by Dynamite Press, so there you go. And also to show how much of a Flash fan I was back in the day, Batman Gotham Adventures number 25. This is the only issue of Batman Gotham Adventures I have left now, after I sold the rest of them. And the only reason why I kept this issue was because it had the Wally West Flash in it. So, and if you're wondering what that is, I used to print off labels and place them on the covers to tell me what characters were in what issues. So if it was the Wally West Flash, it would be Flash 3. If it was the Barry Allen Flash, Flash 2, and so on and so forth. Ambush Bug, I would have put AB or Ambush Bug on there. If a comic crossed over with another comic, I would put a label on the cover saying which comic it continued in afterwards. I stopped doing that partly because it was quite time consuming, and partly because I ended up running out of the tape, and the machine that I used to do that broke, so I thought, I won't stop doing that now. Next up we have Batman Gotham Knights number 40. Beautiful Brian Boland cover there. I think Brian Boland is one of the best cover artists that DC Comics, any comic company, could have drawing for them, quite frankly. And that's also got a backup issue, a backup storyline from the Batman Black and White. And I think, if I remember correctly, DC Comics are bringing out another Batman Black and White miniseries, which is coming out in September, I think, August, September. So there we go, Batman Gotham Knights, War Games again, part 4. Gotham Knights 57 and Gotham Knights 58. I think those covers are done by Jay Lee. Yes, yeah, Jay Lee covers there on the Batman Gotham Knights. And then next up we have I think I was the biggest Elseworld fan out there at the time when DC were producing Elseworld comics. I think I've got nearly every single Elseworld comic that DC produced. If it had the Elseworld emblem on it, I got it. And this is the 3-issue miniseries Batman Hollywood Night, where you had the character of Batman was played by an actor. I can't remember the actor's name, and I can't remember if they actually used the name Bruce Wayne as the actor or whether they used a completely different name. It's been a long time since I read this comic, but I remember most of the premise of the story. And this actor has to become Batman in this reality to stop a big crime from happening. And issue 2, it was only a 3-issue miniseries, and issue 3, let's move them out of the way. And next up, sorry, it was a bit quiet then. I was picking up comics. Next up, we have the Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, number 182, again with War Games. That was Act 1, Part 2 of 8. 183. Do you see what I mean by I was a big DC comic fan back in the day? Well, about 2 years, until about 2 years ago. 184. And we've got 198 and 199. And again, I used to have every single issue of Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, but I had to unfortunately sell them because I just didn't have enough room. There's only a few issues that I kept, either because I liked the storyline, I liked the artwork, or they tied into a set of comics that I had already purchased, I bought. So that's just it. When you get comics, when you collect comics, you get a lot of comics, unless you purposely say no, I'm only going to have this many comics, I'm only going to get this certain type of comic, or from this certain writer, or this certain character, and you end up needing to make more space, and you end up having to get rid of some comics to make more space for new comics, and it's always a very terrible thing for a comic book collector to have to get rid of comics. That's what I've got to say. Next up, issue 1 of the new series of Bloodshot from Valiant. I said it in the last video, I will say it in every single video I show you a new Valiant comic that I have. Valiant are just an awesome comic company. They are the best, I would say, definitely the best new comic company out there. They've only been around for two years in this guise, and the stories and the comics that they are bringing out are just amazing, and the artwork in these comics are just beautiful. It's all sequentially numbered: 4, 5, 6. There you go. And next up we have DC Comics Presents number 87, Superman, and the very first appearance of Superboy Prime. Although now in this issue he's just known as Superboy of Earth. Was it Earth? I think it was. I can't remember what it was. Earth Prime, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So it was just known as Superboy of Earth Prime, and this is part of the phenomenal DC Crisis on Infinite Earth event that happened in 1985-1986. I am slowly getting a complete set of these crossover comics again. I've still got a fair bit of a way to go. I think I've still got about another, I think I might have about 10 comics I think to get, which ain't too bad considering how many actual issues crossed over them, but you know, it's not too bad. And obviously, as you know, Superboy Prime was the Superboy that broke the dimensional barrier and caused the Infinite Crisis and killed a load of heroes and all that stuff. They turned Superboy Prime, who in these comics and in the Crisis on Infinite Earths was a innocent character that gained superpowers and could have been a really good superhero, and then they decided to turn him into a massive super villain instead. But yeah, Harbinger, however you want to say it. First issue of the new series of this, and again, I just cannot praise Valiant enough for how they're doing these comics. Number 5, number 6, and number 7. Now, this next issue, this was a preview issue for a Batman computer game, and it was the Batman Dark Tomorrow computer game, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it actually says down here actually. So this was a comic. In fact, a friend of mine who worked in a computer game store in the town here, he actually gave us this comic because it came free with, it was like promo copies and that. I never did pick up part 2 of this, unfortunately, but I'm not quite sure whether there was a part 2, whether part 2 come free with the computer game, or whether part 2 was the computer game. I can never remember about that. But this is Batman Dark Tomorrow Part 1. And then, you're going to love this cover. You're going to absolutely love this cover. This is Shadow Man number 1. The new Valiant series, Shadow Man number 1. This is the blackout cover. There is actually an image there, but it's such a dark image that you need to have it in a specific light to be able to see the actual image. This isn't the first black cover for a comic book we've ever seen. When Valiant comic first come out, I believe it was Solar Man of the Atom issue 10 was a black cover, which was, I would love to get my hands on that issue again. I used to have that. Unfortunately, I had to sell it. And also, obviously, the Amazing Spider-Man issue 30. I don't want to get this issue wrong. 36, which was was it 39? Oh, I can't remember now. I've got it. The black cover, the one that the 9/11 issue. Yeah, that was the other black cover. So this isn't a new thing to have a comic cover that's a black cover, but this was the first one that was completely black. You really cannot see anything on it at all. No numbering, no nothing. So yeah, I might see if I can get another copy of Shadow Man number 1. That one of the variant covers that isn't the completely black cover of that. And there it is. Number 2. I'm sure you're all sick and tired of hearing me spout how amazing I think Valiant comics are, so I won't say it now. And the last 2 issues for this video, we have got this is one of the greatest crossovers in comic book history ever. Bar none. No matter what anybody else says, it is the Simpsons Futurama crossover crisis part 2. I do have part 1 somewhere around in my long boxes and short boxes, but this is just brilliant. In this one, the Simpsons characters get brought into the Futurama's real world, and then they end up becoming slaves to all the Futurama characters. This is quite funny. So there you go. That is box 2, part 2 of Comic Book Stew. I hope that was interesting to somebody. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, feel free to do so. There's a subscription button down the bottom. If you like to comment on anything on this video, if you know anything about any of the comics that I've shown you here, if I've given any information that was completely wrong about the comics that I've shown here, or if you just want to say hi and just you know, say anything, then feel free to leave a message in the comment section down below. I will try to comment back to you guys. If you like the video, then thumbs up. Green thumbs up are great. The more green thumbs up I get, the better. If you didn't like the video, then feel free to thumbs down. But I always say this, but if you didn't like the video, then please just put in the comment section why you didn't like the video. It's the only way I can make these videos better so that everybody can enjoy them, or the majority of people can enjoy them. So that just leaves me to say thanks for watching. Enjoy the comics that you read, and take care. Ta-ta for now.